Danny, you've been calling out Errol Spence for over 2 years now. Now that we are just 3 days away until you have that opportunity to go ahead and become the first blemish on Errol Spence's dossier, what's going through your mind?
Hey, hold on. We got to start with the cat, because nobody called me out for 2 years. Ain't nobody in boxing been calling me out for 2 years.
Terrence
He
Crawford
called me out, that was a year ago. But nobody been calling me out for 2 years.
Let me just go ahead and stop right here. So I can't stream on the channel for God knows how long. Maybe it could be a day, it could be 2 weeks, because fucking BT Sport sent me a copyright strike for Tyson versus Roy Jones. Now, understand, I expected this, especially when I cover a an event that's not associated with boxing as a whole. Like, for example, I got a copyright for covering Logan Paul first fight, you know, when it was on YouTube for like $10. So I expected some old bullshit like that. Basically, they purged a whole lot of people's shit. They didn't care if it was fair use or not. So truth be told, I kind of enjoy not streaming this week, you know, get to chill, fall back, you know, these lights are bright as shit, you know, and, you know, get to actually watch the events. So earlier today, actually, what time is it? About 12 hours ago was the Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia final press conference. If you don't know, they're fighting on PBC on Fox pay-per-view this Saturday for $74.99, $75. Over in the UK, from my understanding, it's going to be on Premier Sports, the same streaming service that showed Kell Brook versus Terrence Crawford versus Kell Brook. It's like 9-10 quid, some shit like that over there. So the undercard, I got to be honest with you, before we get to the press conference, you know, recapping it, the press conference, if you want to watch it in full, I uploaded it before this. I got to be honest with you, man. The undercard is shit to me. I'm not really interested in it. Maybe because, you know, is it just me, or I'm not high on Sebastian Fundora? You know, that's my right? I'm not high on Sebastian Fundora. But Jorge Cota, if you don't know, his last significant fight, I don't know if he fought after that, was against Jermell Charlo. He got knocked out by Jermell Charlo when Jermell Charlo was supposed to fight Tony Harrison in a rematch. So basically, it was after Tony Harrison won, but before Tony Harrison too. He got knocked out by Jermell Charlo of the twin brothers Charlo. So I guess what I'm saying is the undercard is like, yeah, let me pull up before we get back to the press conference and talk about it. So anyway, take your time out, like the video. I gotta be honest with you, man. I've been working on some shit, and boxing is taking a fucking back seat. You know? So the undercard, here's the pay-per-view portion. Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. Sebastian Fundora versus Jorge Cota's not on the card no more? Let's go full screen. No wonder why. So the press conference for this is tomorrow on the PBC on Fox YouTube page. So here's the pay-per-view portion, right? It's going to be Spence versus Danny Garcia, Fundora versus Habib Ahmed. Let's see, who's this man? Anybody seen this? Whoa, where did he get this guy from? Ghana? Okay. Does he have a photo over here before? Yeah, he has. He got another fight set up. He fought Atlantes Fox to a no contest. What happened with this? Is that the same Gilberto Ramirez at 168? What weight is this fight at? I thought that Fundora was 154 pounder. Oh, yeah. Well, we don't have too much time to spend on this. I guess we got to wait until tomorrow. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got some shit to talk about. So anyway, I guess this is the perfect time to do a jump cut and get to the press conference, right? So yeah, Danny Garcia, you can tell Errol Spence has been kind of frustrated when he talks about it because fighters weren't calling him out. Just like Keith Thurman, he was trying to get guys like Robert Guerrero. You know, it's a rites of passage type thing. You got to pay your dues. You got to earn your shot, then win, and then the guys start coming for you. So, yes, a lot of these guys want to fight Errol Spence now because he's at the top of the food chain. Also, he's going to address it in the press conference, which I'm going to pull up, is that he feels, including myself, you know, in bookies and media, and fans are questioning like, yo, how you going to look, bro? You did get ejected from a vehicle onto your face. Near-death experience and all that shit. So Angel Garcia did an interview earlier, and somebody sent it to me. I knew, Lord knows, I don't forgot who it was from. Let me pull it up on Twitter real quick. And it was like, yo, TstreeT, do you believe this shit is true? I got to make sure none of my porn shit pulled up. I don't really watch porn on this computer no more, though. So, you know. Whose interview is this? I got to watch this.
This is 6
From Fight Hub. Angel Garcia basically saying, you know, looking into Errol Spence's eyes, saying that, like, yo, he's a man that's not there. But anyway, let's take a little bit of a jump cut. Start right here first. When he says nobody's been calling him out.
Through your mind.
Hey, we gotta start with the cat, because nobody called me out for 2 years. Ain't nobody in boxing been calling me out for 2 years. He did call me out, that was a year ago, but nobody been calling me out for 2 years.
Now, to get back to that, if you don't remember, after Errol Spence had defeated Sean Porter, Danny Garcia was in the ring. This fight was supposed to take place in January of this year, before COVID. It was all set up. Errol Spence was supposed to have like a mega 2020, a 3-fight 2020 before COVID. And from my understanding, it was supposed to possibly include Terrence Crawford. So it would have been Danny Garcia. Damn, I forgot what I forgot what they were trying to do. Well, anyway, woulda, coulda, shoulda. We here now. He had the accident. The fight couldn't happen. Now they're here. But before that, yeah, they wasn't talking about Errol Spence. I remember I was like trying to ask Danny Garcia in media. He was like, well, you know, when it makes sense and all that type of shit. But that's what fighters say. You know, Errol Spence, if there's a fighter that, you know, he would probably say the same thing about a Virgil Ortiz or something like that, right? And what I don't want to do is, I'm not going to fucking make this fucking week about fucking Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, because in my personal opinion, I don't see the fight happening, you know, no time soon. I don't see the fight happening with a PBC top-ranked venture. It's going to be either one or the other, and it's looking like it's going to be PBC. And Errol Spence, if he beats Danny Garcia, is bar none guaranteed, in my opinion, the A-side. And I think my dog is tearing up his bed. Let me go put him in the cage. Anyway, hold on. I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe. Jump cut.
You could have easily, in your comeback fight, taken a tune-up. Instead, you wanted Danny Garcia. Why so?
Well, we already had the prior agreement that I was going to fight Danny Garcia. You know, nobody forced me to fight Danny Garcia. I could have took a tune-up, but, you know, I wanted somebody dangerous who's going to, you know, keep me focused and, you know, keep me in the gym and training hard. And I had to make sure I was going to be 100% on point. If I'd have took a tune-up fight or, you know, somebody that I was supposed to beat, you know, I feel like, you know, that 100%, you know, fire wouldn't have all the way been there. Of course, I don't want the victory and I don't want to win, but, you know, fighting somebody with a great name like Danny Garcia and a great fighter like Danny Garcia, you know, it just pushed me to another level and pushed me to the level that I'm supposed to be at.
Danny,
he did an interview with Ray Flores, the moderator, or the mediator, moderator of the press conference. You know, when he does commentary for PBC on FS1, and, you know, basically he's PBC's #1 commentator, like their commentator. So Errol Spence did he was on a Ray Flores podcast on Instagram several months ago, and he would talk about how in between fights, you know, as he said earlier, he would get up there and weigh, and, you know, closer to the fight, he wouldn't be in the best shape. Notably, like closer to the Sean Porter fight, he was in a sauna and he wasn't able to sweat. Well, a lot of people have been noting, even if you watched the media workout a couple of weeks ago, which we streamed, is that he's in phenomenal shape. This is the best shape we've seen him in, like, pre-fight. I guess you can say, yo, probably since the beginning of his career. You know, so he's taking this fight very, very seriously, obviously. You know, because Danny Garcia is very well respected, even though a lot of people, which is true, you know, say that Danny Garcia hasn't really done shit at 147 pounds. Still, nonetheless, when he has fought at 147 pounds, the fighters have respected him. Even guys who are known to be up in your face like Sean Porter. Say what you want, you know, but nobody ever stopped Adrian Granados like that before. You know, yeah, he went 12 with Red Cat, but Red Cat's motherfucking bit him. I'm not saying that's a fucking bastard, Red Cat. But anyway, I look at it like this. Danny Garcia, if you look at it, like, it's not, I can't say that it's not a pay-per-view fight. especially when you know the ratings that Danny Garcia was known to bring in. The Brandon Rios hand, the Adrian Granados hand, but nonetheless, Danny Garcia, throughout the history of PBC, has been known to bring in big numbers and has been known to be pretty much like you can make money off of him. So for this to be on pay-per-view, Danny Garcia commands a lot of money. Errol Spence commands a lot of money. And in COVID, we don't know how many are going to be at attendance, but the gate is not what it could have been. So I guess they pretty much, when they made this fight, had to factor that out and give these fighters certain guarantees, which they are guaranteed a lot. And one of the major reasons why the undercard is looking the way it is because, it's only a certain amount of money that's available in the budget for a card. But there's one part right here I'm interested in, because Errol Spence is going to say some real shit. And as I said earlier, he can't, I'm glad that he understands, like, people looking like, bro, like,
Easily, in your comeback fight, taking a tune-up. Instead, you wanted Danny Garcia. Why so?
Well, we already had the prior agreement that I was going to fight Danny Garcia. Nobody forced me to fight Danny Garcia. I could have took a tune-up, but, I wanted somebody dangerous who's going to, keep me focused and, keep me in the gym and training hard. And I had to make sure I was going to be 100% on point. If I'd have took a tune-up fight or, somebody that I was supposed to beat, I feel like, that 100%, fire wouldn't have all the way been there. Of course, I don't want the victory and I don't want to win, but, fighting somebody with a great name like Danny Garcia and a great fighter like Danny Garcia, it just pushed me to another level and pushed me to the level that I'm supposed to be at.
Errol, October 10th, 2019 is a day that you will always remember. It's when you suffered that horrific car accident, and lo and behold, over 14 months later, you're back inside the ring, defending your world championships against Danny Garcia on pay-per-view. Can you tell us about the journey that you have experienced over these past 14 months?
Man, really just a lot of hard work and a lot of discipline, having my family and my parents and my coach and my day one friends and people just supported me and just seeing my kids every day. I wanted to get back and, I was just train hard and stay in the gym and stay focused and, don't let outside distractions get to me. And that's basically, what I did. It was a lot of times, I wanted to give up, I wanted to quit, but, just seeing, my loved ones and, not want to let my kids down because when they get older, how I'm going to tell them to keep going when they want to quit at something if I had quit, So when I went to the clinic and went to the doctors and they told me, basically I didn't have any brain swelling or any blood in my brain, anything like that, I decided to continue my career and to get back. And that's basically what we did. Me and my coach been in the gym since probably February and just been grinding hard and, we to this point. And now we back. I'm 100%. I'm ready. He's seen my reaction time. He's seen my sparring and, how I do on the mitts and on the bag and everything's back on point and back to, to where it was. So I feel great and everybody going to see, the same Errol Spence Jr. post-car accident.
Would you say that?
I thought I was recording, but I had missed a whole bunch of shit I had said. And with some good shit, too. So, what I was saying was, let's go full screen, is that I don't count the WBA. Like, I'm sorry, Pacquiao, he's not around. So he's not around. No disrespect to your Dennis Ugas, Virgil Ortiz, or Jamal James, but I don't count them belts. I've been on that type time for a few months now. I'm not counting those belts. Right now, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford are the only champions at 147 pounds. The hardcores, you know what I mean. You can't count Pacquiao because we don't know what the fuck he's doing next. Is he fighting like he's heavily linked to Conor McGregor, but Conor McGregor's got to fill his UFC obligation first. In January before he fights Pacquiao in like April or some shit. And Pacquiao might be trying to run for president. Basically, one boxer. It's going to be either Errol Spence. If Errol Spence beats if Errol Spence beats Danny Garcia or Terrence Crawford, one of them, not both of them, one of them is going to get Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion, after Conor McGregor. We're talking about late 2021, possibly some shit like that. But it all depends on Pacquiao's political shit. There's only a certain amount of times he can fight a year. But anyway, what I said I wasn't going to do is I said I wasn't going to make this motherfucking video about a Manny Pacquiao or, more importantly, a Terrence Crawford. But Terrence Crawford has to be mentioned. So the question is, if Errol Spence would not have fought Danny Garcia, who would he have fought? His mandatory situation over the IBF is kind of fucked. I said it before. I said it again. Listen, I'm going to say it again. It may seem like a little bit, y'all going to call me a hater. I get it. But hardcore fans, the IBF is known to be very, very strict. You know this. Errol Spence was in a car accident from drinking and driving. So shouldn't he have been stripped? I'm not calling for him to be stripped. I'm just saying, like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. Like, the IBF is known to be like a very strict organization. So it makes me think, like, how much bread was thrown at y'all. Like, and we're just talking about like a political thing. Like, it's something we got to talk about, right? Because it's like, well, wait a minute. You know, and then they created an interim belt. The IBF is known for not having no interim belts. They did for the Darrell when Unk had Uskata guy thing. But anyway, they made an interim belt for Castillo Clayton and Sergey Lipinets to fight for. That ended in the draw. But this guy right here, Kudrulo, who was at his last fight, Akdughakarov, Lord knows I probably didn't butchered it, and they got it spelled wrong on here. He was the mandatory. So the IBF situation right there, they potentially have currently 3 guys that are fighting for, that are in the mix. Basically 3 mandatories, you might as well say. Errol Spence has 3 IBF mandatories, but they got to fight. He only fight each other before they get to him. So basically, Errol Spence doesn't have an IBF mandatory. I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Just bear with me, you know. So you have Sean Porter, who is not a full WBC mandatory yet, but he fought in an eliminator, so he can still fight in a final eliminator or be ordered to fight a final eliminator. Now, the thing is, for a guy like Errol Spence, he commands a lot of money. So this is his 3rd straight PBC on Fox pay-per-view, 3rd straight pay-per-view headlining. What does that mean? That means you have to keep that money the same. So his next fight will likely have to be on pay-per-view, or if they do it on free TV, PBC on Fox going to need a hell of a load of sponsors, and likely for Fox to step in, like ESPN stepped in for Lopez versus Loma versus Lopez to not be on pay-per-view, for Errol Spence to fight a Sergey Lipinets, Castillo Clayton, or a Katrillo Akdughakarov. And that could end in a purse bid because he's a top-ranked fighter, correct? So that's just a little bit of, you know, politics for you. But like I said, I'm going to be covering the fight. You ain't going to see me bitching and complaining about the price because, for one, it's a tax write-off for me. And also, you know, I understand the politics behind it, but it is kind of hard, especially when you to sell it when you have Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones, which was overall a great, entertaining event, come in out of nowhere and give it to you for $50. But you're going to say, well, this was a real fight at real stakes for real belts and all that. It's like, yeah, all right. But tell that to the casual who are going to be like, what? I just paid for this pay-per-view last week. I got to pay for another one? And it costs more? This was Mike Tyson. Who is this Spence guy? You see what I'm saying? That's how motherfuckers is, man. That's how motherfuckers is. So, yeah, one final jump cut. We're going to get to the face-offs. And, yeah, I guess we pretty much covered everything, you know. I have questions about Errol Spence, though. You know, final thought before we, you know, well, not final thought. But it's just like, all right, we want to see him get punched in the face. Do we not? I want to see him get punched in the face. He knows it. He knows that fans are looking like, yo, like, what's the sparring been like? You know, how is that shit going to hold up? Like, is it still loose? You know, those are legitimate, honest questions. By the way, I must say this. This is a tough fight for me because I am from Philly. I'm a Danny Garcia guy. I consider Angel Garcia a friend. We had some good interviews and, you know, off-camera banter together. You know, I've been to that gym multiple times. This is the first time because of COVID. I haven't been to their media workout or anything. You know, so I understand, you know, how people feel about Danny Garcia when you look at the resume, which we're going to dive in more, you know, after the weigh-in. I understand that. By the way, I didn't have him defeating. I had him. I did have him winning the Lamont Peterson fight, but I did have him losing to Thurman, and I did have him losing to Sean Porter. But nonetheless, close fights. This Errol Spence, we don't know how he's going to look in there. You know, how's he going to react when he gets hit? he's in the best shape he's been in. As I've said earlier in the video, he did a podcast with Ray Flores early in the year where, you know, he was saying like how, you know, like he was like walking around constantly heavy, and that, you know, closer to the Sean Porter fight, he was having issues sweating and getting weight off, to whereas he's ripped. He looked like he's been in shape for about a month, maybe more, like on weight. And it's crazy because where has the 10-day WBC IBF weigh-in been at? Isn't that still a thing? And also, he's the IBF champion, so he can only rehydrate 10 pounds on fight night. But when you have an experience like he's had, it does make you appreciate a lot of shit in life. Like, I've been down that tough-ass motherfucking recovery road. That shit is whack. Having to learn how to walk again and all that. Well, actually, he was fucked up. I wonder how long he was in a hospital bed. I was in a hospital bed for motherfucking 60 days. Like, you can't, like, fucking paralyzed and shit. That shit, ugh. People gotta wipe your ass and all that. Like, you gotta push the button, you gotta take a shit, they gotta roll you over, and you just sitting there shitting, like, pissed off, like, man, what the fuck did I get myself into? But anyway, alright, I don't want to talk about that anymore. So, final jump cut. Fucking, yeah, man, I don't want to talk about that. So, I can understand, like, what Angel Garcia, you know, and fans are saying. I don't know if I keep saying the same shit over and over and over again. Let me shut up.
That will be the case on Saturday night.
Well, because we had a great camp. It's all we left it in the gym. Everything is done. The job is done, man. We're here. What I supposed to say? You know what I'm saying? I got to cheer for Danny Garcia. I mean, he's going to go out there and show the world. True champions made of. And we've been on pay-per-view before. On the Floyd undercard. It wasn't our card, but it was our own press conference, our own everything. With Matisse. So it's not the first time pay-per-view. You know, to the people it is. To us, it wasn't. Danny been here before. He done it. He done it before. He going to do it again.
We had the
you know what I'm saying?
Angel,
Danny
right?
just don't know how to win. He know how to kick your ass.
So, Angel, does it anger you? Do you feel like Danny doesn't get the respect that he deserves as you see that Danny is the underdog heading into this pay-per-view showdown?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what the people think. At the end of the day, half of the people that write that shit, they never been punched in the tip of the nose. It's just people behind desks, man, making all these calls. Get in the ring. Well, then, why don't they try it? Get in the ring with Danny. I don't want to do it. Shit, once in a while, he slips and punches me. I feel it in my fat toe. You know what I'm saying? It's easy with the mouth. I could take your money with my mouth. Would I take it, though? It's a different page. Life is, hey, listen, man, life is crazy like this. That's why we living through this.
But the specific prediction about a 7th round stoppage, what is your response to that?
Well, I want to say, first of all, is that the respect that they say he doesn't get, I give it to him because I've seen what he's done throughout his career. Secondly, I mean, I don't know about the knockout and all that. I don't make predictions for myself or my guy. And he's supposed to believe in himself. He's supposed to believe in what he thinks his son's going to do. Why wouldn't he? And at the same time, we feel the exact same way. I don't go in there and say we're going to get a knockout because I can't predict any of that, but I can predict that at the end we will be victors. We will win the fight or whatever. But I think that, you know, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to believe in himself. You can't make it to this level and perform on this level consistently and not believe in yourself. So I think that without a doubt that, you know, it's what it is. We don't have to talk, though. I mean, my guy's quiet. I'm quiet. We just, you know, you believe in yourself, you don't have to talk about it. So that's how I feel about it.
It's a commercial.
Well, Errol has proclaimed that he's in, and I saw him. He looks in impeccable.
Buy now on foxsports.com/PPV and watch it on any screen you want.
There's a commercial on now. It's crazy. But yeah, let's get to the face-off. Like, really, I'm kind of like this. You know, I actually really thought I was going to be this way. But to be honest with you, I talked about this fight a lot. And sometimes I forget that I'm supposed to, like, always talk about the fights and always be all enthusiastic and hyper. Like, yo, this fight's this weekend and everything. But really, I'm hype. But not that hype. You know? And Danny Garcia can win. I want to see how Errol Spence fights. I want to see, is he going to be moving a lot? I don't care either or. You know, I don't care if, you know, I mean, I wonder if he's going to try to test his chin. That's going to be dangerous. You know, I want to see him get punched in the face. And I'm not the only one. I can't find that part that where he was talking about. In this press conference, he was talking about, look, I understand like how people want to.
See, you know, the questions that need to be.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is.
We prepared for a lot of things. That's why we had different sparring partners. We had guys who come at us. We had young guys who move. All types of styles. So we'd be prepared for Saturday night.
Errol, for you, what are you hoping to prove on Saturday night against Danny Garcia on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view?
I mean, the only thing I'm gonna prove that, you know, I'm still the same. And I'm a realist. I'm realistic. I know people, you know, have a lot of questions. Am I still the same? Am I shelling myself? And if I would have looked at the accident and somebody would have had, I would have said the same thing too. And I would have had questions too. So, you know, that's basically, you know, the questions that need to be answered. And I feel like that wouldn't have been answered if I would have fought, you know, a lighter competition. So I feel like, you know, a lot of stuff will be answered come December 5th that people that haven't been in the gym need to see. So, you know, I just expect for myself to be 100% on point, sharp, and, you know, just accurate with my shots.
Danny.
There you go. So he's aware. He's aware. He's aware. Let's get to the face-off. So I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please like the video. What we're going to be doing is after each fight, if I'm not streaming by then, we are going to have post-fight content and post-fight interviews from the fighters via post-fight press conferences after each fight. So basically, we're still going to give you post-fight live coverage, you know, but I'm going to get innovative with it. And also soon, I would say probably now in about a week, 2, I'm going to be streaming on multiple platforms. So, and I got a new PC with this sick-ass gaming graphics card. So I'm not going to be lagging, no nothing. We're going smooth on all platforms, baby. We got Fios, gigabyte internet, all that shit. Like, shit's about to get real crazy around here. I'm talking about, yo, this is the closest I've ever been to boxing media Nirvana. That's why I ain't been doing no interviews or nothing. Look at this shit. You know I can do them. But don't worry. Wait till you see this shit I pull off. Wait till you see this shit I pull off. God willing, man. God willing. Podcast in February. God willing, man. Could be as early as January 15th. Generic ass music. I love it though. But yeah, man, the undercard I'm not too thrilled about. I'm not too thrilled about it. Not too thrilled about it. But y'all know me, man. I'm gonna motherfucking cover this shit anyway. Shit ain't shit else to do, right? So once again, here's the main card. It's going to be obviously 2 days, 16 hours, 6 minutes, 56 seconds away. 9 p.m. Eastern on PBC on Fox pay-per-view. $74.99. The pay-per-view is going to open up with Eduardo Ramirez versus Miguel Flores. Josesito Lopez versus Francisco Santana. Sebastian Fundora versus Habib Ahmed. And Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Swift Garcia. With that said, I'm going to be here with post-fight videos on those fights. You know, going to be here with post-fight content from those fighters. And then whenever they release, you know, my Tyson versus Jones video back on the channel, I'll be able to stream again. I'm very kind of I'm not really triggered as I thought I would be, but I'm kind of a little bit triggered. Because it makes me think, like, should I, like, hire an attorney again? I don't want to go through that shit and send in letters because they did cost me money. So it's like, somebody's got to pay for that. But we're going to see, all right? Anyway, I'm TstreeT Controversy with FightView360.com. Please subscribe.